Hello, my beautiful Freudian children. Welcome back to Russian Roulette. I decided to continue reading this because I am super behind in the series. And well, like I said, it's amazing, and y'all should really read it yourselves if you want to. But here I am reading it out for my friends who are too lazy to read it themselves. The duo walked into class. The classroom was fairly large, with a board at the front. It was a classroom you'd typically find in a fantasy book. Pillars and tall bookshelves by the windows. There's even some vines growing around the ceiling. The two of them got burning stares from the people around them, judgmental and curious gazes to be exact. American narrowed his eyes at them, then view what I don't know how to pronounce a word. We're gonna No, wait, copy it. I guess we're just gonna save it because we can't freaking copy it on here. And everyone could feel the chilling aura in the room. They quietly turned their gazes away. The prince sat down at the seat in the very corner of the room, and Russia sat in the seat to the prince's right. Okay, so it's really hot in here because I turned my fan off to record this video, so appreciate it. You aren't going to have a fan screaming in the background. The seat they sat at is pretty isolated from the rest of the classroom. The seats aren't designed to help dragons either, so Russia had to hide his tail just to sit down. Just then, the teacher entered the classroom. "Good morning, welcome to my class. How about we start with introductions?" The teacher dropped the pile of books he was holding on the teacher's desk with a loud thump. "You first, the one in the corner." The teacher pointed at America. Everyone turned their gazes to him. The ones who knew who he was whispered to each other, and the ones who didn't were curious to see who he was. The American stood up with his hands behind his back. "My name is America. You may know me as the military's human weapon. I've been ordered to help with security here, so let's get along." Now the entire class knew who he was. Naturally, they knew about his terrifying reputation and stories about him in the battlefield. Some found it hard to believe that he was such a dangerous figure. "Oh, Your Highness, it's an honor to have you in my class. You may sit down." He pointed to the next student. "You, the dragon." His tone changed from being respectful to annoyed. Russia stood up reluctantly. "I'm Russia, the princess guard. That's all you need to know." He's so salty. The teacher rolled his eyes and moved on to the next person. The Russian sat down and turned to America, who was smiling at him. After everyone finished, the teacher started the lesson with very basic things like ability identifying and different job positions for different types of abilities. The teacher's gaze fell on Russia, who was honestly paying attention. Meanwhile, America was in his own little mind space with no interest in listening. He pointed at Russia. "Answer this question, dragon. What are the different groups of abilities?" His intention was clearly to pick on Russia, despite knowing almost all dragons had never had a proper education properly until now. The dragon stood up. "There are 4 types: combat, defense, medical, and status, but most abilities aren't classified in one specific group. One ability can be mobilized and used in different ways. For example, someone with ice ability can use their ability to attack others, but can also block attacks and slow enemies down." Yes, that is correct, and that's basic information you should have known already. You should have already known that, fucking dick. Upon hearing that, typically people would be annoyed, but Russia was ecstatic. He totally glossed over the second part of the sentence, only focusing on the part where the teacher said that his answer was correct. Dragon's eyes sparkled. America stared at him the entire time. He found Russia's reaction very amusing and cute, making himself smile along. "Then answer this. What causes ores that are used to make abilities suppressing metal from?" Russia paused. He generally didn't know. He didn't remember the teacher explaining this. America furrowed his brows in annoyance. Indeed, the teacher hadn't explained about this yet. The question is unfair, designed to attempt to embarrass Russia. The dragon helplessly turned his gaze towards America for a second, while racking his brain. America had his left palm faced towards Russia. His palm were writing that were made with an unknown substance, which sounds pretty sus. It looks somewhat like scars. This made Russia quite alarmed. He could have sworn the prince's skin was unblemished from head to toe. Besides, no one would have past scars that were in the form of writing. Then Russia realized that America's palm was the answer to the question. It is unknown until now how these ores form. Russia answered the question. America smirked and retreated his hand back. The teacher seemed dumbfounded for a second. Well, yes. Okay, then another question. Why do abilities... Suddenly a dagger came flying at very, very high speed towards the teacher, and nearly missed his face. It flew past and stabbed through the board, which made it shatter into pieces like glass. The classroom was shocked silent. Everyone turned to where the dagger came from. It was America. Gay. The prince stood up abruptly, making the people around him flinch in surprise. Are you done? How about acting teaching instead of meaninglessly picking on someone with questions you haven't explained yet? The teacher seemed furious. The ground started to vibrate. America's gaze went to the shaking ground. Vibration ability could only shake the area around him with no specific control. He immediately ducked. You really want to fight? Try me. America glared at him. I think that's like condescendingly. I don't fucking know. His gaze was sharp as knives as his eyes started to emit a faint glow. The teacher hesitated. It wasn't wise to pick a fight with America. There was a large probability he would lose. So the shaking floor gradually died down. With reluctance, the teacher sacrificed his pride and said through gritted teeth, Fine, let's continue with the lesson. Both America and Russia sat down. It wasn't like America was even listening to the lesson. Russia felt like America did that for him. His gaze noticeably softened at once. Russia could consider himself somewhat observant. There were so many things he was confused about considering America's ability. His questions piled over one of another continuously. Russia could also consider himself a curious person. How dangerous of ability could give someone the role of a human weapon? After the bell rang, the two of them walked out of the class together. I fucking just tripped over my own voice there. You're not gonna take your dagger back? Russia asked the prince. Nah, they can clean it up after. Clean it up with fucking go into these things unscripted, okay? Nah, they can clean it up along with the broken board. The hallways were fairly empty. Russia stared at America's hand. He abruptly grabbed the prince's left wrist and lifted it. The palm was clean, smooth, and unblemished. This made the dragon narrow his eyes. Why are you grabbing my wrist? You're an impatient one, trying to hold my hand, America teased. The dragon ignored it and tried the other hand. I know you're curious about my ability. You're not going to tell me even if I asked. After all, I could use the information against you. America chuckled. You read my mind. You're a smart one. The prince leaned in closer until their faces were a few inches away. Shall we get to our next class? Gay. Fine. Russia let go of his wrist and started walking away. The duo walked into the hallway where they had been fighting earlier before. It was as good as new. Everything was in place as if Russia hadn't roasted the entire hallway a few hours ago. They noticed the teacher in the middle of the hallway with their eyes closed. When the two of them entered the hallway, her eyelashes fluttered open. She wore a suit and her hair was tied up in a ponytail. You could feel an elegant air around her. Good morning, Your Highness, she greeted the prince with a smile. It wasn't expected for a superficial one that people usually did. Good morning. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this. Rough day, America flashed her an innocent smile. Yeah, don't play pretend with me, Your Highness. I want to know everything that happens in this building. Next time when you fight, don't roast the entire hallway. Tisk, it was worth a try. Yeah, sorry about that. America immediately dropped his innocent Kate. I don't know how to pronounce words. I'm gonna say a scene turned to rush out. Like, I know what this is. Like, I definitely know what this is. Hang on.
ASEAN.
ASEAN. Okay, that's a weird word. That was loud. Okay. ASEAN. Yes. This man. Which she's actually female in this one. So. ASEAN turned to Russia. Well, you two better hurry to class. I'll go clean the mess up you made in the classroom, she said as she walked past them. Once Russia felt like she was gone, he turned to America as they walked. Does she know? Just assume she's the building itself. She built it from scratch with her ability and controls the environment to her will. She can monitor almost everything happening here as long as we're in the building. What a power ability. What a. I fucking can't speak. What a powerful ability. Do you know what kind of weaknesses it could have? Russia placed a hand on his chin to think. He had always been curious about different abilities. America laughed brightly. His smile lit up the entire room. That was what Russia felt. Although she never told me her weakness, I think I know what it is. Russia didn't speak. He waits for the answer. Although she knows everything that happens, she doesn't actually. She can only know the things that happen to the building, so conversations between us won't be heard, since it doesn't directly involve the building itself. The more Russia thought about it, the more logical it seemed. You're quite good at deducting about these things. Thanks for the compliment. Do you like me a bit more now? America flashed a grin at him. Heh, in your dreams. That's never gonna happen. When you lie straight to somebody's face. The two of them turned their heads forwards and saw two figures about to enter the classroom. America grinned playfully. If it isn't our roommates. Looks like we had the same class this time. The Korean twins noticed them and stared with a blank expression of annoyance. Geez, not this guy again, the two of them thought at the same time, like twin telepathy. I love this picture though. Orphans. You see, there's Germany, Poland, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, China, and Russia. And then here's America. This is very nice. Very nice art. It is very nice. Let's see if I can open it. You know, let me open. It won't. It doesn't let me open. I'm sad. Anyways, that's all for this video. I love you, my beautiful 40 children. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.